whatever it takes. I know I can make it through. A Degrassi podcast with Kelsey and Holland too. I know I can make it through.
Hello, and welcome to Whatever It Takes, a podcast about Degrassi, the Next Generation. I'm Kelsey.
And I'm Holland, and today we're talking about Season 7, Episode 23, If This Is It. And Kelsey, will you please read us the Degrassi Wiki summary?
Sure thing. Spinner and Manny struggle with decisions as graduation looms. Spinner can't decide between staying behind with his band or graduating with no future plans. And Manny is torn between Smithdale and West Drive. I mean,
that's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good job, Degrassi Wiki. You're bound to get it sometimes. And the episode is called If This Is It, which is a 1984 song by Huey Lewis and the News. I really like the song. I actually kind of really like Huey Lewis and the News in like a fun 80s kind of way. But I guess it kind of makes sense. It's like, the song is kind of about being at a crossroads, like, if this is it, like, if you're not in love with me, let me know. And I guess both Spinner and Manny are at a crossroads. Manny's trying to decide if she wants to go to school or if she wants to be on the TV show. And Spinner is kind of trying to decide between, like, his band and passing school, which is kind of more of a dumb crossroads to be at, but I think it works.
It's more like, does Spinner want to try or nah?
Yeah, seriously. But I don't know. I think it's a good and aptly titled episode. But let's just get into it.
We start off with Jimmy and Spinner being pals, which always makes me happy.
Yes. And Jimmy is worried about Spinner's grades, and Spinner is worried about getting his test results back from the doctor to find out, like, where his cancer is, what his status is. And then I think the physics teacher tells them that, like, they can do a take-home final if they want to, I guess.
Where they have to, like, build a bridge, and then they have to put a 10-kilo weight on it.
Right. And Spinner's like, we can do that. Come on, let's do it. Like, come on, Jimmy, help me out. I need help passing this class. Like, I need to pass or I'm going to be back here again next year.
And the teacher is like, true facts, and shows him his 41% grade point average.
Yeah, he's like, I need to get an A on the test to, like, pass the class. Please help me, Jimmy. And then Jimmy's like, okay, fine. And
because he's
their
the best.
Friendship is just so beautiful. And
the teacher's like, Jimmy, you know that this will also affect your grade. And Jimmy's like, yeah, I know. Because he's the best friend.
Love him. And then the theme song happens. And then we find out that Spinner's in remission. Yay.
And we know this because Jane is in the Zen garden, which I always forget exists. And Spinner is running around looking for her and yelling for her. And she literally says, I'm in a glass room, Spin. You have to do some of the work. Because Jane's
like, I've been
great.
looking for you everywhere. And she's like, dude.
She's great.
So while they're in this glass room and being very happy about Spinner being in remission and it's very exciting, Peter fucking slams up on the glass and is like, dude, guess what? We got entered into this, like, Bands of the Blogosphere showcase. It's gonna be awesome. And again, I'm like, guys, not being very secretive about your goddamn secret band.
Like, everybody knows who they are.
Yeah, it's, like, not a well-kept secret at all. But then we are in the hallway with Manny and Emma, and they're both holding up, like, tiny little envelopes. And they're like, oh, my God, like, let's see. Let's open up. Let's see if we got accepted into Smithdale.
And Manny does a very funny impression of her parents.
And then, surprise, they both get in. And it's very exciting. And I love that they're going to school together.
And, of course, Emma is a poli-sci major.
Of course. I'm surprised it's not, like, more environmental studies. But maybe they don't have that. But then we're in the bathroom.
Yeah, I was like, why is Spinner inviting Jimmy into the bathroom to share his good news? I don't understand.
And I don't really remember what they're talking about. I guess it's like, yay, this is happening, Battle of the Bands, project, and Jimmy drops his phone in the toilet, and Spinner gets it for him, and is like, that's a perfectly good phone, come on. I was like, oh, back when dropping your phone in the toilet maybe wouldn't have totally destroyed it, because they're made out of plastic.
I remember back during, like, this time, I once dropped my phone into, like, a puddle, like a dirty puddle on the street, and it was still fine after.
I dropped my razor into a glass of milk on accident, and it still worked. It didn't work very well, but it still, like, turned on and technically worked.
Those were the days.
But then, should we do Fashion Police? I did not take a lot of notes.
Yeah, me neither.
Like we should just get it out of the way.
Yeah, sure.
Spinner's wearing a weird distressed shirt at the beginning.
Jane is wearing her spike necklace forever until she dies.
Yeah. Manny's tank top is very large on her, but also is cut weird. It has a weird design on it. I don't know.
It's got like weird sequins on the front. I don't know.
I kind of like Emma's like blue and white flowery tank top though.
So at one point Emma is wearing this like denim button-up dress with like a lace / like mesh shirt with a very visible bra underneath. It doesn't look like a thing that Emma would ever wear, but I also love it. It's super trashy and I like it a lot.
Remember tiny little vests?
Yes. I like only recently got rid of all of my tiny little vests.
I wore a tiny little vest with a tank top to a Blink-182 concert in 2009.
Of course you did.
I was very proud of my wardrobe choice.
I definitely wore tiny vests like way longer than is appropriate.
When Manny's like fitted for a costume for West Drive, she's like channeling Jessica Simpson and Dukes of Hazzard.
It's the least amount of clothes that a person should be wearing,
it's like
really.
Teeny tiny shorts and like a shirt that's like tied up. It's very strange.
Also in that same scene, her like co-star, his hair
is just so bad.
It's so bad. It's
so
like
bad.
so emo band bad.
And like just plastered to his face. Yeah, that's all I really have though, I think.
Spinner's daydream self has a real sweet mustache and like beer belly and a denim vest.
Yep, it's something, dude.
It's a thing. All right, and that's all I got too.
But then, so then Manny and Emma are like walking around school. I don't know her. Manny's dad is there and is like, "Your agent Bernice called." And she's like, oh, she, like, never calls me. That's so weird. Right, this is when this happens?
Yeah, because she's giving him all of their Spirit Squad uniforms, and he's like, you're going to take me to the dry cleaners. And she's like, you are the dry cleaners, because he's going to apparently dry clean all their uniforms. Which feels like an abuse of power,
Yeah.
but okay.
And she's like, all right, I guess I'll call her back. We'll see you. Or no, he's like, are you going to call her back? And she's like, oh, no, I'm a Smithdale girl now.
And he's so proud of her.
Yeah.
And then he says razzle dazzle.
Yeah, he's like, who needs razzle dazzle show business when you have school or something like that? It's ridiculous.
Give him the old razzle dazzle.
Now I have that song stuck in my head forever.
Sorry.
Specifically just Richard Gere walking down a staircase or something. Anyway, then we are with Spinner. I just wrote down, I think Spinner and Jimmy are together.
No, Spinner's with his dumb band, and they're talking
Right.
about how they're like, well, we were doing this thing, but exams. And Spinner is
Dummy.
the biggest dummy. And he's like, we're never going to have this opportunity again. And it's like, Spinner, weren't you just fighting about this with Craig like 2 seasons ago?
Seriously.
Didn't you have this exact conversation where you were like, no, we should graduate from
School.
and like
Yeah.
do things.
Yeah.
Or actually, no, he wasn't in the band then. Ellie was in the band.
Oh, yeah.
So never mind, JK. But
I don't know, I
still,
don't remember.
of course, Spinner's an idiot and is like, this has never been my dream, but obviously let's give up everything to do this.
I'm suddenly very into my drumming. And I think we later learn it's like, he's in remission now. He didn't think he would be able to do things, and he wants to do what he wants to do, and he doesn't want to take an exam. So that's kind of where his headspace is. And then all of a sudden, like, Johnny DeMarco and his goons come over, and they're like, I can't remember what they said, but we find out that they're the ones who entered them into the competition.
Because, like, Johnny DeMarco keeps doing, like, weird, nice things, but, like, under the pretense of being a dick. Like, he acts like an asshole, but the actions that he's doing are very nice.
It's so weird.
It's very confusing.
It's very Johnny DeMarco at this point. It's so weird. But then we are with Manny and Bernice, did Bernice get recast?
No, I don't think this is Bernice. I think this is, like, one of the, like, producers on the show.
Okay. So we find out that Manny, like, got a part on West Drive. Like, did she audition for this?
Well, didn't she audition for this a long time ago? She, like, had an audition. She talked to Jay about it. It was, like, many episodes ago.
Maybe.
She auditioned and she didn't get in. Because when she was talking to the producer, whoever she was like, we've been thinking about you since your last audition. So I think she auditioned before and they were just, like, holding on to her for later.
Okay. And then she's, like, taking her through the set and, like, she's, like... saying like, oh, and you'll have to room with the lead, the guy who plays Brad West or whatever, who I guess is supposed to be a babe, but I don't know. And then she's like, all right, so it's a full-time role for 8 months. Are you in? I was like, damn, Manny, getting your, like, full-time work. Go, Manny.
I know. I was like, Manny should take this job.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd, like, maybe change my mind later, but for at least at this point, I'm like, Manny should take this job. Also, I love that his name is, like, Brad West, and it's West Drive. And it was just, like, a part of this time when, like,
I mean,
everyone
like
was trying
Dawson's
to, like, everyone was trying to do, like, the Dawson's Creek naming on all the fake TV shows.
Yeah.
Like, do you remember Moody's Point?
Yes, I loved that.
Oh my God.
Fucking Amanda Bynes. She's back, everybody. I hope if I don't have anything else to recommend at the end of this episode, I'm going to recommend watching her bananas first interview.
It's perfect.
Or listen to Who Weekly break it down because it's hilarious.
It's so good.
I
was on drugs, but I was also serious.
I was serious, but I was also on drugs. That was what she said about asking Drake to murder her vagina. Drake, full circle. It's on topic. All right.
We did it.
And then speaking of Drake, then we're with Spinner and Jimmy, and Jimmy's like working on their bridge, and he's like, and Spinner comes into the classroom. He's like, so we were supposed to meet last night. Like, where were you? And Spinner's like, oh no, I forgot. Sorry, I was with my band. And I was like, of course, Spinner is like the worst group project person ever.
I just wrote down, this is every group project I ever did, where like, I'm like, oh really? I'm the only one who's doing any work? Great. Yes. Like any English project, I'm always the only one who ever read the book.
Yeah, group projects were the worst. Although one time my senior year, we were able to pick our partners, and I was in a group with like it was like 3 of us were all super type A people, and we got shit done so early, and we presented it first, and it was like the best group project experience I've ever had in my life.
It's the dream.
Shout out to my AP Stats group project people who don't listen to this podcast, and I actually hate one of them now, so never mind. Anyway, Jimmy's like, dude, I'm doing all this work. You have to help me. Like, you're the one who asked me to help. What are you doing? And Spinner's like, what? Come on. Like, I don't know. You said you would help me.
And he's like, I would just be holding you back. But, like, dude, that's not an excuse to not do anything.
Yeah.
Fucking do a thing.
At least pretend to try to work. And then Jimmy will be like, no, you're doing that wrong. Let me do it. But at least you can pretend that you're trying to contribute at least.
Show up. Just fucking show up for a minute.
And then Spinner's like, this is when Spinner's like, hey, like 2 weeks ago, I didn't even think I'd be able to like do this battle of the bands. Like, I want to focus on stuff that I want to do now and blah, blah, blah.
And
Jimmy's like, what kind of life is that? You want to be back here next year with like your band and blah, blah, blah. Like, how sad.
And he's basically, he like says he's going to be like king of the burnouts, which like is not wrong.
Yeah. But it's sad to see them fight. And then Spinner like walks away, I think.
But Jimmy is obviously in the right. Yeah, Spinner walks away to some real serious angst music.
And then the next scene, Spinner comes over to Jane and is like, you gonna throw your panties at the stage for me at this showcase? And I was like, please don't say panties.
I know, I just wrote ew, panties.
And then I think Jane is like, oh, aren't you supposed to be studying or something? And Spinner's like, no, I'm not doing that. Like, I gotta do my band thing. And she's like, I don't want to be with a guy who tries to fail. That's lame. Study for your goddamn test.
Because Jane is the best.
Yeah. And then this is when we see Emma's weird jean vest outfit.
Yep.
And she's like, Damien got into banting. And I'm like, ugh, I don't care. I've already forgotten about him.
I literally, every time he's off screen, I'm just like, who?
And Manny's like,